Everybody, we're here at CC Fitness. My name is William Noble, PGA Professional at St. Anne's Golf Club, and behind me is Chris Caldwell. He's my PD trainer. Between the two of us for the last year and a bit, we've been working on improving the areas of my body to improve my overall golf game, and that's basically what this is all about. What can you do outside of having a good golf swing, your equipment fitted for you? What else can you improve on? And that is basically your body. And Chris is going to be here to talk to us about the little bit of work that we've been working on. I came to him with a few aims that I wanted, like everybody else. I wanted to hit it longer. One of my other ones was, if I was ever in the rough, be able to hit any club I wanted to hit, rather than just forcing it out with a wedge, and to feel stronger on the course. To maintain my ball striking, because I know my technique's good, but I wanted my body to stay at the level I expect to stay at the beginning of a round, throughout the round, and through a tournament over a full season. And part of that I knew was to improve my body physically, flexibility wise, but strengthening was definitely a big part of it. And we're on a journey at the moment together. We're now on the pre-season preparation for pre-season for 2023. But this is a little bit of what we've actually done for this season. So basically, they were the three areas I wanted to come in. We've definitely succeeded in those areas. And Chris is going to just tell you a little bit about what we've actually done to achieve certain things in my golf swing.
Okay, so when Bill came into us, like everyone else, with the golf swing, it's pretty dominant to one side. We're all swinging one way. So what happens there then is we compensate in other muscles. And when you're more dominant, you start to use one side more than the other again. So this led to a few little things. Bill was quite flexible when he first came in. He'd be able to squat all the way down, but wasn't strong in that bottom position sort of thing. So I always put someone through like a basic program the first day, so you still get a decent workout. You'll attest to that. Yeah. But what I'm looking at is how he's moving through his hips, his ankle, his knees. Is he leaning forward? Is there lower lumbar issues? Stuff like that. So basically what we started with was we went with structural balance, so trying to fix these imbalances that come through the golf swing. It's like every swing, the big thing I told you, every time you swing, you internally rotate. If you're right-handed, this hip 3 times. So that's every practice swing you're taking, you're internally rotating that. That's going to create tightness through the hip and the quad over time, which then obviously leads to the knee coming in. But then if you're not stretching and doing your strength in between, you start to then feel it in your back, which is where we found an issue where you're squatting, you're able to get down through your hips, but your back is coming forward, sort of thing like that. So that's just one of the postural things we did. So we started with structural balance. Then we started, once we kind of fixed these imbalances, we started doing a little bit more strength work, trying to push the weights on a little bit. And then as we got closer to the season, say pre-season rather than off-season, we started adding a bit more speed and power work. So that was like our med balls, our bands, that sort of thing. Once we had everything firing up properly, then we were able to kind of up the volume. That's what we did next.
Was there any specific thing that you felt I needed to start with? With the training? I said, right, I know you would definitely start with actually having a general look at how my body performs.
So we did the first 2 to 3 sessions as a working assessment is how I would call it. And the big thing we noticed was that like you were a great turning one way and not the other. And again, like that comes back to because we do so much of swinging one side. So then when we were saying a lunge, if you lunged forward, you were fine on this side, you'd stay straight. When we went this way, the knee was coming in and we were really tight because what happens is if this quad and this hip gets really tight, you get really tight on this side of your back, which is why your body automatically goes that way.
How would that have an effect then with me swinging? Would that have an effect on the weight with me releasing my body, or
it's
in
more
the back
clear?
swing?
It's more clear in your hips. So like as you're trying to shift your weight obviously forward, and you're trying to clear your hip, you're really battling that. So rather than that snap and actually getting through the ball, as you would say to me, like that's where we're losing club head speed just on that because you're fighting your body. And then like what you always say to me is like, if I know I've overdone it a little bit or I'm a bit tight, I end up this leaning back, and that's where you obviously flare the ball off, and that's the one we're losing.
And that actually showed up in my golf swing as well, that I would definitely flip my hands through impact, especially when I got tired as well, and exactly what Chris has described there. It's something that I've always battled on to get my legs released. It looks like I've got very quiet legs, so that's definitely what we've been working on. It has made a massive difference. And other areas we've looked at, even going forward for next year, is how my wrists and my hands react through impact.
Yeah.
Because I've created that movement on the back of a weak area in my body.
But that was another thing.
Yeah.
You had the previous shoulder injury, which completely impacted, and you've started swinging around it, whereas we were actually to turn that from a weakness into strength, and all of a sudden you were able to see off the track, man, your ball speed was up, your contact was better, and you were carrying it whatever 10 more yards further with every shot, every club, rather than just a long club sort of thing. So that was another thing, like where you fixed the imbalance of, whereas you've just been working around it before, you became dominant on your other side, which would have been your weak arm as well. So that was next.
And do you want to show everybody a little bit of what we've been working on to improve mainly the shoulder, and probably a little bit of leg movement, two basic exercises?
Well, with the shoulder, like the easiest one, we can go through.
There?
We'll through the band here. Like, this is fairly basic. This would be a tougher band.
Hopefully you can see. I'll move it.
So you're just grabbing overhand, chest up nice and tall, and it's just like a face pull. You're trying to get the shoulder blades working. So you'd use a lot lighter band first. This would be quite heavy resistance. This is about 20 pounds of pressure. We started on a skinny red one that's about 5. But again, you're just trying to work the shoulder blade. So a lot of the time when people do this, the dominant arm will take over. That elbow's not getting back there. So you're really trying to just get the elbows back and down. That would be a simple one. Like anyone, you can pick up one of these bands for €8, €10.
And what would be the main end result of that?
The end result of that would be better control of your shoulder blades would be the thing. Because
so holding them or rotation or both?
Well, basically, more you know where they are. A lot of the time what you see is like people will have a scapula that wings, so it comes out this way. So like that's not good for rotation. You want it to be actually coming down and under, whereas most people would be flaring outwards sort of thing. And that was what you had with that shoulder, because you're trying to protect it.
What should do it in front of there, so go on, come on in, use my body.
Yeah, so a lot of the time when you rotate, you want this shoulder blade back and down. But what would happen, go back to the start, when it was weak here, if you turn now, this was coming up.
Right.
So you're completely less shallow, like, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be the main issue there, just for that. But a lot of it we just did is we did a lot of back posture, because like your lats is where a lot of your power comes from with the golf swing. So they're your biggest muscles on your back. Like,
and what's your lats?
Your lats would be, so if you turn around, you're the model today. They start at the armpit here, and it's this big long one that comes right down here into your lower lumbar. So this one here is the powerhouse of the golf swing in the upper body. So they, like, your quads are obviously your biggest muscle on your legs. That's why you see a lot of the lads now, like you would always show me Ryan Fox, Ram, these lads have big legs. Now I know the other taller, leaner lads, but they still work out, DJ, Rory, etc. But a lot of it, they're pushing their weight down, so they have the power. But when you see their actual swing, it's fast, and it's that snap, which is the lats, these ones all along here sort of thing. So that's why we would always, like for golf, prioritize your pull exercises over your push. Like, whereas a bench press, a shoulder press, and those sort of things will be good for the shoulder joint and your triceps, etc., which are auxiliary muscles, but the lat's the powerhouse behind the swing.
And based on where we started, where do you think I am now?
Well, you're miles ahead. You're miles ahead of where you were before. Like if you just look at your last season, like you had a lot of big competitions. Okay, you didn't play as well as you wanted, but that was more down to maybe, like you said, nerves. You thrive off nervous energy, and then excitement, time management, etc. Whereas the way I was looking at it as a successful season is you weren't tired, you weren't losing club head speed, you weren't pulling the ball and slicing the ball because you didn't have the energy to do it, sort of thing. So you had the power and everything, the body was working. So like I said to you, we kind of discussed, it's probably we're doing too much in the week up to it. Like, you think more is better, whereas less is probably more. So you're more rested and peaking coming into the end of the week, whereas you're kind of hitting balls thinking, I feel great, I feel great, I feel great. But that's all energy that's going out of the system there, sort of thing. So what we're just going to work on is, obviously, in your few warm-up tournaments, as we get back to 18 holes, start looking at bringing your volume in your training down. Maybe move your Wednesday, like we train on a Wednesday because usually you don't really play till the weekend. We might move that earlier in the week and then give you a couple of more rest days in between. So it's kind of working out your schedule.
Over here,
I was just going to say, is that no one can see? They'll be able to hear me though.
So yeah, I can definitely feel that. I definitely noticed this year that I could maintain my ball striking and the way I hit it throughout a whole round of golf. And actually, season-wise, I felt strong over the ball.
Yeah.
I could definitely hit the shots I wanted to hit, high fade draws. My arm play was exceptionally long, and it was commented on people that I've played with in the past how long it was, other tour pros. Driving-wise, still a bit of work to do there, and that's part of what we're working into this season, to be able to hold that club face a little bit square, because there's a lot more force put onto my smaller parts of my body with a longer club, especially if other parts are working a little bit stronger. So going forward for 2023, what